Hello people, I'm Melanie Florence and this is Hot Tea for the Soul. So today I'm going to do an Aquarius Vibes sort of reading because we're in Aquarius, right? And there's 2 planets already in Aquarius, and by the time we finish full in Aquarius there's 6 planets in Aquarius, and we've hit the Age of Aquarius. So there's a lot of Aquarius vibes going on around us, right? So I have an Aquarius rising. Does that surprise anybody? So communication. And we've already seen justice and stuff starting to roll. So, I'm going to do this reading, full reading for the Aquarius vibes, what we got going on. I'm not doing monthly anymore, doing my star signs, right? And then we all get the vibe, and the Aquarians get the vibe, and we all get the vibe for what's going on. I'm also going to do a sweet hot tea pick a pile after this, so I've got heaps of cards on the deck, and I'm going to do the weekly for your element, so check that out. So, without further ado, I actually picked some cards, went to my little box of cards up there, and I was like, oh, what is Aquarius? That's variable, right? But I have picked a few that are a bit more, mystical, so we can work with that because I'm usually a bit earthy, but I got a lot of cards for a lot of different reasons, so let's shuffle a couple and see what we got. So I'm going to start with, oh, this is Divination of the Ancients. So this has a whole heap of divination in it, like all the different types that you get. So let's see what comes up. What have we got? Oh, did I bring my card holder down? No, we're going to work with that. I forgot the cards straight up and had to go back up and get them. Oh my goodness. That was on the bottom of the deck and I've shuffled that a bit. And there it is, scrying in mirror. So you can do this. So Nostradamus was a scry. He was like an aquamancer or something, you know, water scrying. But it's all about reflection. Apparently they think you can do it in a headlight, like, because it's got a reflection. All right, so it's about not getting a reflection from the other things like I do from the other lights on my glasses, and it's about you know, sort of concentrating and spending your time and scrying into it. So mirror, crystal ball. I got plenty. I've never used it. Someday when I'm getting old and I'm just going to stare into things, maybe that, let's see, right? But straight up, this is about protection. So there's a bit of protection in the wind, and you might find that it's obviously going to bring you your intuition, and it's going to bring you a little bit of foresight. So looking into our divination, have a look in the mirror, scrying mirror and projection we got. All right, that's good. Let's start there. All right. Ooh, I can already see the challenge on the bottom of the deck here in the greenwood. Put that back over. Okay, so I also got, oh, this deck is so awesome. And I haven't used it a lot because I want to read all the book, and they're like 2-page meanings for each card, and I like to get to know a deck before I use it too much. But this is Beyond Lemuria, and the pictures are great. And let's see what we got. I want to do chakra healing readings with this once I get really into it, because there's a chakra one in another book. All right, 1 card for Aquarius. What do we got? Oh, this deck. So beautiful. All right, 1 more, and then I'll split it. Because before I started this, I never went for jumping cards because my deck didn't jump. It was so old, right? I always split the deck. So we would split the deck in 3. So traditionally, it's 3 and 3 and 3. So you'd split the deck like that, and put it back together again, and like that, and that, and put it back together again. 1 more, and 1 more, like that, and then put it back together again, and that's how I always do my readings, until I clean my cards and they just like jumping. Alright, so, what do we got? Air. Surprise, Aquarius. The star, Aquarius. The wings, Aquarius. This is an Aquarius card, if ever I've seen one. So we're really talking about the element of air. So it has all of the chakras in the beginning of the deck, and then it has all the elements. So we are in a time of dreams. We are trying to get we're in a time of wish fulfillment. That Aquarius is wish fulfillment. It's the star in the deck, in the tarot deck. Like, so we're in a spot of wish fulfillment and our beautiful wings. Aquarius, Aquarius. This, if ever there was a card, is Aquarius. Look at that, the beauty of that, as we split the deck. How amazing. Love how it works. All right, back to me, All right, back to me. Right, so, what else we got? So, ooh, and that one. Insight, magical tools, writing and star crafting. Again, this is so Aquarius. So we've got that magic of writing it down and listening to the ancients and the star crafting, like in a communication in there, magical tools and writing. Right, so we've got a mirror back at ourselves, perhaps projection, not protection, projection, and a mirror back at ourselves with the air sign. And here, we've got insight, and this is great insight of the ancients. Not surprising, but that's what we came up with Aquarius. All right, so I'm going to do a Romany spread, which is big, which actually means I've got to move half these cards off the table. Up close and personal. Look at all my paws. Ooh, which deck do I do it with, though? Ooh. You know what? I'm going to do it with the Muses, because I always have the Muses Tarot out, and it is a bit Aquarius. And so I'll leave the Greenwood for the weekly, because that's my thing, and I've got other ones here for the weekly. Oh, sorry, puppy, puppy, puppy. Da-da-da-da, puppy, puppy. There's one more card, puppy, puppy. Oh, found her at the supermarket the other day. Poppy. All right, so let's go. Oh, I'm going to give you one of these too. Let's give a love card. Oh, that just shot out. Let's go with that one. That one, apparently. A beautiful, inspired idea floats through pathways of light, waiting for the right moment to enter your mind and your heart. This wonderful idea stems from your soul. It will grow and blossom if you nurture it. Keep it safe in your inner world until it's ready to manifest. In your outer world, a period of great fulfillment and accomplishment follows. Right, so there's going to be different sounds in my books now because I've moved into my basement. You may not be able to guess because this sort of looks the same because I had 2 bookshelves full of books. So these are actually all the old books from my family. Over there I've got ones that are just ancient of their own accord on how to look after your house. I got some wife tips. Never became a wife. All right, let's do this. Big Romany spread for Aquarius. So if you're in for the long read, thank you for being here. This will actually be a little bit long, but let's have a look and see where we go. Romany spread is 7 past, 7 future, 7 present and 7 future. So it's real progressive of where we're coming from and where we've been and where we're going in the Aquarius vibe this month. It's sort of like coming here, got here, and where to go. All right, let's have a look. Oh, shuffle. Oh, shuffle. 1. All right, I'll give it a little bit. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. These ones are narrower. Woohoo! 6, 7. All right, hang in. 2. I'm busy this week. I'm busy. Australia's coming out. It's coming up. I put an article out. Other stuff. It's been good. Got a new housemate moving in. All right, so I'm going to go that one, because I just decided that. That one and that one. Not taking all of them, but I'll take some of them. All right, last row. There we are. Ooh. Can you see all of those? Yeah, you can. Look at it. I won't be able to see the last one, but we'll make that in the end. Alright, let's have a look. You two are out. Alright, this is a traditional account. I was just reading that the Romany gypsies have come out of Southeast Asia and they went through into Europe, and that's where that spreads. And so it's like into Russia and into Europe, and that's where the Romany spread comes from, is those peoples. The gypsies. I'm part Prussian, along with a mix of other things. And so it sort of almost has felt a bit right. Alright, so we do miss those last ones, but we'll get to the last one, don't you worry. Alright, big big spread. Bear with me. Let's go. I'm going to take them over one at one and we'll have a discussion as we go. Aquarius, what have we got going on? So we sort of lead into, let's go, the Age of Aquarius. Let's go. What have we had going on in the Age of Aquarius as we led up into this? All of the emotions. This is the muse of emotions. This is everybody's out emotions in play. This is how I feel about things. It's not what I think about things. It's not what I even spiritually, like my gut tells me, right? This is a real, like, this is not driven by earthy things. This is actually driven by, I feel it. And this is like that I'm really dispersing those. In its best, this can have a euphoric nature. In its worst, this is everybody controlling everything with their emotions. All right, so we're going to start with, that was what's been in play coming into this. All right, but we're looking for joy. So this is the Three of Cups. This is the cups, this is joy. And so it's really sharing that positive state with each other. And really looking for something that does bring fulfillment from these emotions, looking for the joy inside of it. All right, we got the Empress. So this woman is more than the queen of all she says. She's very content. This is a very fertile, feminine like energy that really is exploring in this Virgo sort of way in the world and everything that I have. Like, she's really in touch, and she knows that this is going to lead to lead. Is going to lead. Like, she's going to lead. She's going to lead with her heart. She's going to lead with her soul. Is going to lead with her strength. So anybody who's coming into this, this is the turn that you felt. You lead your emotions. You're looking at your joy because you really want to bring fruition of these things that you desire into the material world and really applying that to the material world. All right, let's see if you're here. All right, and are really applying. This is the Chariot. So this is like applying ideas. This is really taking everything. This is a very Cancer energy. Like, as we take into the world, the Chariot is really taking it and with that heart, with that emotion, really applying it to the world. These things together. It's like we've reached deep into our emotions to find joy and that euphoric spot. And we want to be able to make that. And we really want to apply this to the world with the Chariot. All right, so what else we got? So we got the Hermit. So this is relevant for everybody because we really have been in a hermit phase, and it really picks up that, you know, we go through this and we've had a time of retreat, but this is another Virgo energy. This is the other Virgo energy in the deck. So this is really implying that we're looking at, you know, taking something from it. We're taking ourselves and retreating to ourselves and really learning and getting some new perspectives on things, and maybe retreating from old traditional things and really moving forward because we want to really impress. So we've had a really emotional, impressed, like strong energies of how we apply this to the world. There's a real feminine action inside of this. These actually don't have kings, this deck, so we really are talking about the muses being kings. But that is the muse of water, so implying it. So our excess, like a really euphoric nature, and what we can really get from this retreated ourselves, because we really have to, you know, the Chariot has implied this to the world. So this is our potential energy. Right, so, because this is a triumph of spirit, this card, the Six of Wands. So when we hit the Six of Wands, we're talking about really getting over and taking the power for ourselves and really finding the triumph inside of our spiritual life, our passions, what drives us, what our instinct is. What is it that makes triumph, that you can make motion, you know, positive motion, and really stepping over. This is a harvest card. What you put in, you get out. Right, so last in how we got here for the Aquarius vibe. So this is the Ten of Inspirations. So when we talk about wands, we're talking about faith. You know, and when we talk about this card, it's about taking the responsibilities or walking away from the responsibilities. It's about responsibilities. Because in the 9, we're talking about, you know, respect and really respecting ourselves and getting respect, and we understand what it is that's brought us to this spot in our heart and with our faith and our passion. This year is about taking responsibilities for those passions and really choosing what burdens you carry. Like, you can really put down other people's burdens and pick up your own. It's yours. It's your caravan of love. All right, so this is a 10. So we hit that spot that it's like really about everything that you took to get here and really taking that journey further is what she's doing with those. All right, inspiration. So we then are going to lead into the present. What have we got going? Aquarius. So where is all this Aquarius, Age of Aquarius, dawning of Age of Aquarius? We've been doing these things for a while now. Where does that brought us to? Because we're here. The Age of Aquarius in Aquarius. Ooh, 5 of materials. Right, so all of this, everything that's gone on, is 5 is of the senses, materials being of the material plane. Let's really be real there, right? And this deck, it's represented by the roses. You can see the 5 ridges over the arch, and you can see that she feels abandoned and she feels left outside of the riches alone. So we actually do have conditions inside of everything that's going on that some people are going to feel abandoned, right? But or that things are moving on, or that they weren't included in the riches of all of these circumstances. And we do perhaps have a position that we are like got to be really careful about. I guess 4 is protection inside of this, and so there's there's 5 is really about watching, feeling it with your senses, feeling your emotional, your practical world with your senses, and really, you've got to be careful not to focus on lack with this. Right? We are at a loss at this moment, maybe going into a recession. Well, let's see how that all pans out. But it's all in your heart. This is material world. All right. So what else we got? Oh, because it's a transition of the mind. So we are the Aquarius mind. We go into that insight, magical tools, writing, mind. It's a paradigm shift. Scrying in the mirror, and so this is a transition. This 6 of air, this is a transition where we take ourselves from one spot to another. We move. We're going to move from the material perhaps, but this is really taking a transition and getting up and making that bridge. You can see that's making a bridge over troubled waters, just over sharp obstacles that might barb you. All right, so then we have, because a 9 of inspiration, because you're inspired. Alright, so you're going to move away from the actual lack and the material. We need to be inspired. And so we need to take a transition inside of this Aquarius energy to make this transition across, right? Because this is about being inspired. So this here is about being respect. This is when I said to you here, we're going that transition here. So this is respecting yourself. Look at that orange. She's not nervous. She's walking through there powerfully because she knows what she feels. She'll back what she feels. She really is going to go in and get it. And this is, this is respecting everything that you got to get here. Respect yourself, right? Love it. All right, what have we got in the middle of our present for Aquarius? 7 of voices. So this is sort of about illusionment and insecurity and breaking down of illusion and really running through those insecurities of the mind. It's a healing energy. So, it's really about watching and really taking on and seeing, there's barbs, there's arrows. We've got a lot of arrows still being fed around, and we're breaking illusions, and breaking those illusions really come with some pondering inside of there. So when we get to the 7 of voices, that's when we get to that 7 of voices, we're really talking about air and communication and communicating those insecurities so that we can walk on, even if it's a struggle that we're walking into, because we actually are respecting our passion and our faith. All right, Aquarius, here we are. Aquarius vibes. Okay, so and this is a real player energy. This is still inspired. So we've got a lot of inspiration in here. And we've got a lot of verbalizing it because we're going to perhaps, because we really do want joy, and we really do want things and to have potential energy in the practical world, and we thought about it and what those triumphs are, and we know what we actually have as a burden, and that actually leads into, we might, leaving the material world not being your focus, because this is a transition of inspiration, and at the moment it's actually based on sort of insecurity, right? So now we get to here, which is our player energy. All right, so this gets a bad rap, this guy. He doesn't want to settle down. Here's the fox in my deck. See, here's that player energy. Here's the fox in my deck. And he literally is about really divining. He doesn't want to settle down. He's still thinking about what he really wants. He's still thinking about what things really mean. Like, he is still taking on that challenge. It can be really frisky energy. This is really frisky energy inside of the air, and really getting, out there and being inspired. But he's really ready to push it out and create fireworks. He's definitely ready to create fireworks. Right, so the next thing is the 4 of materials. So with all of this inspiration, we've got to find that we actually, in Aquarius, we're like Aquarians, we are going to really look at our practical world. And this is about really protecting ourselves, pulling back in, looking at your budget, protecting what you get, protecting what your home is, protecting your children, and really looking at your material and pulling it in and taking it in and respecting it. respecting it that you're not outside alone. All right, so it's actually a healing spot, a safe spot in the Four, in all of the Fours. All right, so the Two of Inspiration. We've got a lot of inspiration inside of this, and passion and inspiration. It's what we're driven by in Aquarius, and making changes. So this is looking out. This is making decisions of faith. It's looking out and looking at what you decide on. We're allowed to change what you thought last week. You're allowed to change what you thought. Next month, you're allowed to change it. Next year, you're allowed to not be the person you were at the beginning of 2020. You're allowed to be the person you weren't at the beginning of 2021 if you want to change stuff today. All right, we make decisions of faith to find fulfillment. It's searching for something. It's searching for what this Knight is searching for, and what our meaning and our perspective is. All right, so we're going to go into the last row, which is going into the future, and let's see what we got. All right, let's see. Thank you for staying if you're still here. All right, so the Knight of Air. So this guy is a bit more communicative. He's a little bit more driven by perspective, and he's driven by actually talking about it. He is on the go-getter. He's a hawk in my deck, in the Greenwood deck, and he really is like honing in, and he is not wasting his time. He's not wasting his energy. He really does try to get in and get in, and he's driven. He's driven to communicate, and this could be signing contracts, those sort of things. This guy is pretty driven. This is an air sign dude. So if you're an air sign dude watching this is maybe you becoming into you. All right, but we're going to communicate. We're still communicating, and our inspired ideas. All right. All right, let me turn this up just a little. See if we can get those last cards in. I've got a thing on spring. I quite like it. I've tried other things. For now, it's still great. All right, we can see that last card. Let's go. All right, so thanks for holding in. Here we are. All right, Page of Voices. So we got we started up here with the Muse of Voices, Voices. No, wait a second. So this is more communication. Not emotions, voices. All right, so we got the Knight of Voices. Then we've got the Page of Voices. So we really are little ideas. This is a woodpecker. This is like really running around expressing ideas, got a little bit of intellect in there. So we really are going to use our magical tools and writing and our star crafting for a paradigm shift. And this is where we're moving. We're moving through a paradigm shift because we had expectations prior. And we know that we've come to a good spot, but we've literally had a hiccup, and we need to make a transition, right? This is where we're going. All right, I love Aquarius. Let's go. Inspired. All right, so with all of this, this is generosity, and this is generosity of community and friends and communal sharing of food. This is like, drinks and sort of celebration almost, but this is really on an abundance level where we play it forward with our hearts and our deeds with our heart, and really put our considered love into circumstance. And you feel it. You'll feel the abundance when we all start networking together and reach out to our neighbours. I've spoken to my neighbours more in this last year because of what's going on than any other year, and I've been in my house for 10 years, right? So there has been, and there's communication between people. And so there's a communication about this lack and our emotions for it, so we really are talking about those things. And there's abundance that comes from us being inspired, 9 and 9. And then we've got the Empress. So if we run that up, the Empress has inspired us. She's giving us respect, and it brings an abundance of emotions. These cards can be written in a whole heap of different ways. This is why this spread is really good for it. All right, so for the dedicated, we have 4 cards to go. And I read the air paradigm because I think you should have it. All right, 8 of Voices. So we're bound. We're bound here that we feel we can't say anything. And we're bound by our fears that seize our chest when we have an anxiety attack about the hard conversations that need to be had. It's a struggle. This card's a struggle, is what it is. And we're struggling with ourselves, and we're looking for that inspiration, and we can get it coming in, but we're blinding ourselves, and we're bound. And they're our conversations. It's our conversations that we need to have. So there's a struggle in this communication, but we're damn sure we want to have it. And it's inspired, absolutely. And we need to move to protecting and make decisions about protecting people and voice those decisions about protecting people so that we can have this we have responsibilities, right? This is about everybody speaking their voice. Don't be afraid. I've got some abject opinions. I've got my blood is a problem in Australia Day. Every year, my blood's a problem in Australia Day for me, for everybody else. Don't be afraid to have your say. It's valid. You are valid, and this here, when we're doing this generosity and we're binding people, people have been bound. We're still All right, so this is still about people feeling like they're bound by old communication and old thoughts and old deeds. And we're still struggling with this illusion in the middle that we're breaking free of. This illusion that we're breaking free of. All right, so 3 cards. Okay, so 10 of materials. We're talking about the home. We're talking about our legacy. We're talking about everybody being able to hold hands around that tree in the material plane and feel the growth of that tree and feel the fruit of that tree and the labours of how we got here. Right? And so this is really focusing on the material plane, but really hitting that last spot. It's like we step from that 5 of materials and we're protecting it and we jump over and we're like, as a community, right, there's a faith that we actually are working together for a legacy. Like, and that's what these voices are over. This is what we're bound. That's where we've been, you know, and we're heading through that. How do we generously in emotion while we're still binding here when we want every child, every person to actually live a prosperous life on this planet. And there's enough food to go around and we know it, right? And that's sort of what this is about, our legacy. The bound voices and the illusion that stopped us from making progress in the past. So illusion. This is a little bit daydreaming. It's emotionally taking that one step across to, you know, maybe daydream. Sometimes it sort of sits in, it's a healing place. It sort of sits, so this is sort of a mourning in some ways, like, and it's really a letting go of, you know, it's sort of letting go of what, you know, that emotion, because we came into this with a lot of emotions, right? And there's sort of looking at that and daydreaming about the possibilities, perhaps. Like, in some ways it's a mourning. It's letting go of past emotions that were tied to all of it. All right, one more card for Aquarius and the Aquarius rising, Aquarius and Aquarius. The dawning of the age of Aquarius. Woo! Right, so, the Fool. This here is 0. This is its own deck. This one card is its own deck, the Fool. It's 0. It's when we have the 1, we have the Master, then we have the 0, which is the Innocent, which is what we face in every 10. All right, so we actually are the Master in the 10, and we are the Innocent in the 10. And this talks about stepping out and stepping out into that sunshine, stepping out into that star, jumping and having a go, taking it. You know, do your star crafting. This card, out of all the decks, actually has a ladder. And very interestingly, it means we can always come back to this spot. It's sort of what it's saying. You can always come back. But what happens if you go forward, huh? If we make different choices, we actually jump and actually make a better choice and we try to make a better pathway towards progress, to getting our wishes. That's what this is, Aquarius. It's time to jump. Aquarius. Right, so that's amazing. I'm going to put this air card, which is our Aquarius card, up on my Facebook page with the description, because I love that turned up in the middle of all that. I am so glad that you stayed. If you watched all of this Aquarius reading, then you are probably the only one. And I'm happy that you're here, and thank you very much. Love you. Share my stuff maybe if you like. These are really personal readings for one, because sometimes these ones are just for one. But I really hope you like it. And here we are. I am going to do the other videos. So I may catch you there, catch you in the weekly hot tea or the sweet hot tea. Love you guys. Catch you later.